Hello, today we will be solving for problem F, which is does too much sleep impair intellectual performance? To start off this problem, you have to identify your claim, and the claim for this one is does too much sleep impair intellectual performance? After that, you have to identify your null hypothesis and your alternative hypothesis, which in this case, it would be your null hypothesis would be the hypothesized mean of the differences of the paired data in the population is greater than or equal to 0, and your alternative hypothesis would be the hypothesized mean of the differences of paired data in the population is less than 0. And since your alpha is not identified, it would just be 0.05. After you find that and you know that it is a paired t-test, you have to find your d, which in this case your d would be equal to normal sleep minus extended sleep. So after you know that, you take all of the data that is provided, the vigilance score for A through J for normal sleep and extended sleep, and you plug it into your calculator. So normal sleep on one side in L1, and then extended sleep in L2. And then you do L1 minus L2, STO L3, and then it gives you all of the data for D. So then after you're done with that, you could identify your conditions, which all the conditions are met, so you could carry on with your paired t-test. So the samples are random, the samples are dependent, and the population is normally distributed. So then, to start off your sample data, you have to find the sigma, which is equal to the sums of D, which is equal to negative 32. And then you have to find the sigma, or the sum, for D squared, which is 412. And then you could carry on to find D bar, and which that is equal to sigma D over N, so negative 32 over 10, which is equal to negative 3.2. And then you could find S of D, which is equal to the formula, the square root of sigma D squared minus parentheses, sigma D, parentheses squared, over N minus 1. So your S of D is 5.87. So now you have all the things that you need to do your t-test. So the formula for t-test for a paired t-test is D bar minus mu of D over S of D over the square root of N. So when you plug all of those values into your calculator, you get T is equal to negative 1.72. So then you could search online and find a t-table. So when you look at that t-table, you have to go to degrees of freedom 9, because the degrees of freedom is equal to n minus 1. And then you find that your p-value is between 0.05 and 0.1. So your decision would be to fail to reject. So in conclusion, at the 5% significance level, there is not convincing evidence to support the researcher's claim that too much sleep impairs intellectual performance. And that is how you solve a paired t-test.